Listening now on my Georgia SDR for folks down around Florida, Alabama, Georgia. This is KC9VKV. We have 5 SDR receivers, and so we are spread out from New York and Pennsylvania, Virginia, Georgia, and that's about it. Then we have a Hocus Pocus receiver that is pre-programmed for 50 SDR receivers, spread out over 20 states on the eastern part of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. And the thing is, if you've been trying and I haven't been able to copy you, like I say, I'm running 5 different SDRs from, way up in Pennsylvania down to Georgia, and then my Hocus Pocus, where I've got those 50 states, 50 SDRs from in 20 states. And if I can't copy you, you might consider the fact that maybe you might want to do a different antenna. I always suggest one of those different antennas, a dipole antenna, but a tuned dipole antenna, so you don't have to run through antenna, a tuner. You just go straight fire to the wire right into that antenna since it's tuned, and it's called a tuned dipole antenna. It just works wonders. And so if you were to put up a new tuned dipole antenna and run it in, keep your old antenna and put an AB switch or ABC or whatever switch on your antenna so you can keep the old one and look at the new one and compare them, because that's the only way you know how well you're doing or not, is by being able to compare the new antenna with the old antenna. So that's my 2 cents. I always keep my old antenna when I build a new antenna, and then I can jump back and forth with a selector switch and just immediately hear the difference in the receive level. It's you can always hear noise and white noise and stuff it's a holdover from my UHF VHF days when I used to build UHF and VHF antennas. I would maybe take, at one time I had 18 different antennas around the house, and I could take about 6 of them and aim to a target station, like a repeater somewhere down the river there, 100 miles away or 200 miles away, and they get them all set up, and then I could just run through them on a selector switch, and just listening to white noise in the background, and I could find the hottest one, and it usually turned out, now I don't know why this is, but it turns out that the first antenna I ever built as far as VHF was my best, and I spent the next 5 years trying to outdo that antenna. And I came close a couple of times, but that antenna was always the hottest antenna. And I don't know why. I even ran in the last ditch effort to top it, I ran an antenna up beside it on another pole about 4 feet away. And, so it was in the same area, and I still couldn't top that antenna. It's just an amazing antenna. And these antennas were wooden antennas. They were 8-foot-long booms with, I forget how many elements. It had 6 or 8 or something. But this antenna was very special because, it is a matter of gain, and what we were doing was using a 1/4-inch steel elements, and you can say what you will about steel versus aluminum or copper or all that stuff, but steel works just as well as anything else, believe me. And we were using a very odd antenna match, and RG8U, I believe it was, 75 ohm RG8U, or RG6. But anyway, VHF, UHF was always a interesting thing. We got locked into that for about 2 years, and I had picked a direction because I really loved the hill country down in Kentucky and Tennessee, and I really found a lot of pleasure working that area. And one of our contacts, our DX contacts, was in the North Carolina edge down in Tennessee and Kentucky, and right where all those come together there. And that was about 405 miles for me, and we worked that repeater about 10 times, I think. It was always a pleasure when you know, we could swing around there, and I would bring maybe 2 or 3 antennas to bear, and just you know, see which one was hottest for the night. A great deal of pleasure. My Elmers said, "Hey, you got to get out of this UHF VHF stuff and get into get your general license and get going on general, you know, frequencies." And I was saying, "Nah, I will." And he said, "Well, I tell you, I'll give you I'm going to set a radio here. You take it home and set it on the table there, and I want you to look at it, you know, every time you turn around and see what happens." And I say within 2 months I had my general license, so it was he tricked me there, and I thank him for that. That's what Elmers do. So anyway, this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.